Draft started. I get to hop into this while Magical gets his drink. Welcome in to NACL OQ's, a recording here. Golden Grubians versus UCSD. A close matchup in terms of the rankings, all things considered. Looking at the ranks here, Golden Grubians at the 11 seed coming in, UCSD at the 22, so not as close as the closer, 16 versus 17 matchups or 15 versus 18, but still two teams that have a lot on their plates here. Specifically, looking over at Golden Grubians here, Geiger, Kolthro, Castle, EvanRL, and Julien. A lot of old collegiate players going in there, going up against the collegiate team at that. And of course, into draft we go. Rumble, Senna, Seraphine banned out. Lee Sin, Ashe, and Varus taken off the table. Early Nico Hover coming through from Golden Grubians. They're going to first pick that one. Yeah, wow, Magical. Welcome back, too.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm surprised to see the Nico priority, because I know Nocturne has been, like, the talk of the town right now, where you look over towards every region, everyone's like, Nocturne, experimental hexplate, busted. You get an ult pretty much twice a fight. So seeing that the Nico priority is actually there really does surprise me for Golden Grubians.
Yeah, and I think especially considering it's Kolthro jungling, Kolthro can play everything.
True.
We've seen him coach, we've seen him play in collegiate a lot. He'll play anything necessary, but already a pickup on that Lucian for Shezhomasy, the bottom side. That's an interesting early pick, but Lucian has been quite good with this new Voltaic Cyclosword, and man, we're gonna have to pull out the encyclopedia of new item names.
I mean, I've also seen a lot of priority on Lucian. Right now, it feels like the marksman meta is Lucian, Ashe, Varus. Those are like the premier AD carries on 14-1, with Melio always being paired with Lucian. Sometimes if Melio's taken away, you might see the Nami still resurge, but very oftentimes it's just those that trifecta of AD carries, and then sometimes you'll see Jhin sneak his way into the meta as well, but that's usually when the champion pool has been pinched.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see the champion pool has been pinched a little bit here with this Ashe and Varus ban. I mean, Senna being banned away from Protos makes a whole lot of sense as well, considering Protos has sort of been one of the main Senna players, I want to say, in high elo.
Yeah.
Opposite side, though, the Aphelios gets picked up quite early. We'll see what that gets paired with, because the old pairing was always Aphelios Thresh, but gonna be the Lulu instead, so Enchanters on both sides of the bot lane.
Yeah, and that also feels like the meta right now, too. Getting the ranged supports is just a lot easier. You get the poke that comes from the World Atlas now, the new support item, that is just a lot easier when you have these enchanters. Even having some of the carries that sometimes show up as the supportive role. I know myself, I love the Veigar, but you were talking about that Senna and how good Protos is on that already, but then you make it so that you have it really easy for it to stack up and get even more gold. It makes sense to see how the draft is kind of unfolded so far, except for that Maokai. I'm surprised the Maokai has gotten that kind of priority here. Like I said, we've been seeing more of the carries from the jungle really be what has been the go-to.
Yeah, as you were talking about, the Nocturne has been picked up quite a bit at the highest level. I mean, as you mentioned, pick ban at this point. Of course, there's always going to be your Vise, your Wukongs, your enabler junglers. I like to call them dog junglers just because they're really boring to watch. Granted, Maokai's sort of in the same boat, but with a lot of these newer tank items, I wouldn't be too surprised to see it flexed up top. Not 100% sure if they would opt to do so, but they still have that flex potential, and that's what's important. With them on red side, they can save this as a potential counter pick top lane if they just pick something neutral into it, or they can just put it into the jungle and be okay with it.
Yeah, I'm imagining it still will be jungle, especially when you look at the second round of bans. Top lane focus exactly for both sides. The Jax, Aatrox, Yone all taken and put onto the bench, so they're not going to be something that you have to worry about, because that is kind of the crazy thing with 14-1. A lot of these items changes where it feels like so much has changed, but yet nothing's changed at all at the same time, right? Where you have a lot of new items that have come in, but a lot of the champions that were already powerful before still can utilize a lot of the power that they bring in now. And seeing like Cassante as well be that final ban, that one is what I consider a great ban, because Cassante, I think, was already busted before, and with the new tank items is even worse at the moment, where I've seen so many games. Like, I was watching some LCK-CL games where Cassante just would never die. You just always were able to escape from any kind of danger. And another thing that's kind of boring to see is Azir Corki has been popping up a lot in the LCK. And so seeing that Azir for UCSD does make me think that, with the Nico pick, doubtful, but still kind of that boring meta.
Yeah, I think we're very likely to see this Nico just match it in the mid lane. We've seen Caps pick up Nico a lot. You still have all of that engaged potential. You have a lot of roaming power as well. That's an interesting pickup here that Udyr gets answered. So
Do you know where
it's
that
sort
is?
of, I think it's top lane,
It
right?
is top lane.
Oh,
Udyr top
man.
lane has, like, it's AP Udyr top lane, where you go for that, you get yourself that Dorn's Ring right out of the gates, and you just have so much power. So few top laners are actually able to deal with you. And it's actually kind of more surprising than to see that Golden Grubians banned away that Rumble, because I've usually been seeing this Udyr top lane to deal with the Rumble top lane, to make sure that you can bully him early on. But then again, I think Udyr is just in a good state top lane where very few matchups can actually contend against him.
And of course, it is Geiger playing top side, who did play some Champions Queue, if I recall. So probably saw some of those close to you casting it and said, hey, there's the Udyr top lane. And I think it works out really well here because it still gives you that frontline power. You still have that bulk that you really want in this top lane, but that's one way to sort of flex on them a little bit with the Kennen. Make sure that you can bully the Udyr back a little bit more, play that range game a little bit more. And, you know, Udyr, you'll want to just run at them. You want to get up close. Kennen can just run away with that lightning rush and stay safe, as well as provide a very lethal team fight combo. You look at this top side, Kennen, Maokai, Azir. It's a lot of magic damage, which I would hope we just see 3 Merc Treads across this top side. But at the same time, your team fight is going to be really scary because Azir just shoves them back into Cannon slicing Maelstrom. You've got the roots to come through from Maokai, and then Lucian can just free fire off the back. Hopefully, that's the game plan for UCSD at the very least.
That's the game plan for them. But then on the other side, Golden Grubians, they have good zone control as well. You have the Lulu to kind of keep them alive. You have Pop Blossom out of Nico. Aphelios is always going to have that devastating damage that he can do with his Moonlight Vigil, depending on the gun setup. Same with Graves. And then the only outlier in that situation is going to be Udyr, because he'll most likely just want to be on a side lane. Pushing, not really contending with the fight. Get a level 1 cheese fight against the Kennen. If he can get the kill early, game's over. Alrighty, we're ready. The game is loaded up. We have Golden Grubians on the blue side facing off against the University of California, San Diego. We'll see who's going to take the W on this as everyone's loaded up onto the Rift. Rare Adam is going to be joining me for this game. Adam, are you ready for some League of Legends?
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see this matchup. I have a very interesting relationship with the UCSD, just the school in general. Me, of course, coming from a Valorant background, their Valorant teams have been the most welcoming to me, and I live in Toronto, which is the strangest thing. You know, they're just so accommodating.
Yeah, living in Toronto is very strange. You're right.
Yeah, being Canadian and all that. But their entire school has been very accommodating. Protos, I remember last year's OQs was asking to get his team streamed and everything. Unfortunately, I was unavailable those days, so sort of fitting that it comes full circle and I can cover UCSD by proxy in this game here. So it's going to be nice and interesting to see this matchup come through. Nonetheless, all the lore side and everything, interesting to note, Nokduro on the top side. Lethal tempo Kennen, you were saying that that's sort of the new strat.
Yeah, especially into something like this AP Udyr top lane where you go for the Doran's Ring first. You need that extra bit of burst that you're going to have against Udyr, because Udyr's level 1 is insanely powerful. Imagine like how Singed wants to be. Singed now is, but it's Udyr.
Yeah, and Singed has been pretty strong, at least in solo queue recently.
In solo queue, yes, but I'm talking about in competitive. That Udyr, AP Udyr is what Singed wants to be in competitive.
Yeah, unfortunately, Singed in competitive. People aren't as silly as to just chase the Singed permanently. But,
rip Looper. I miss those days.
Sag. But yeah, on this top side, I mean, across the map, really, it's pretty neutral stuff. I like to see that these junglers are starting on opposite sides. This Maokai wants to play towards the top side. KingClueless did opt for first strike as well, so might be going a little bit more for that sapling damage. Just get that poke off at the beginning, but it can lead to issues down the road. Specifically, some of these fights, KingClueless won't be as tanky as potentially you want if you had even the Aftershock or Phase Rush if you wanted to just sort of get out of dodge, bait all those summoner spells out, get out of there.
All right, I'm going to do one thing really quick. I feel like the sound's not loud enough. I'm going to raise the sound a little bit, just in case people want to hear that, you know?
Yeah.
There we go. I'm not editing that out either, because KingClueless is ganking the bot lane as he gets a nice Bramble Smash onto EvanRL, but the flash comes in, gets him underneath the tower, so he'll survive. The perfect timing for that, as we're seeing a little bit of a skirmish everywhere, Adam. Everyone's trying to get a piece of the action. Holden took a lot there, as he was the one to engage on a castle.
Yeah, and interesting to see KingClueless sort of does 3 camps into bottom side. Actually stole away those Raptors from Kolthro. It is flash for flash on the bottom side. You did get the ghost out of EvanRL, but I think at the end of the day, especially when you're playing a Lucian lane, you want to get that priority as soon as possible. They're shoving a big wave into Julien, not Reppy here. Gonna try and freeze it up, but I don't think he will. Protos doing a good job of forcing that wave under tower. And at the very least, you're getting those summoner spells out, and you can play a little bit more aggressively now if you're Shezhomasy.
As you see that their top lane, Geiger, the reason why you go for that lethal tempo cannon is you're more likely to get the stuns out from your W. But, oh, KingClueless, completely clueless to what Kolthro just did.
Yeah, living up to his name a little bit there. We can see it, but unfortunately, KingClueless was very unaware. Kolthro just walking in, killing him, now takes the red buff. And now this Maokai going to be in a little bit of a sticky situation, because a major factor about Maokai, in my opinion, I think, is you want to get that level 6. You want to have that agency to give those lane-wide ganks to your bot lane, especially since you've burned EvanRL's flash. Now you're a little bit behind the curve. Kolthro sort of laying down the gauntlet, saying, hey, I want to play as aggressively as possible. I'm going to steal all your camps. I'm going to steal all your money, and I'm going to kill you in your own jungle.
Well, and that's the thing. Well, Maokai kind of wants to farm up a little bit, get up to level 6. Graves wants to do that even more so, and he wants to do that before you, because if a Graves can snowball, there's so little that you can do to stop him from absolutely terrorizing you. And that's why KingClueless isn't even looking to farm anymore, just looking for that play into the bot lane with a nice wrap around right there with the Cozy Campfire. Gets the heal out of Julien, try to help out as Evan was able to get back towards the turret just barely.
Yeah, we're gonna mess that up every single time.
Oh yeah, that's like that just happened right there, because it's Reppy. I know it's not Reppy. I then wanted to say Julien, but then Lucian was on the screen, and so I pretty much did both at the same time.
You get Juician instead. But
Juician.
Yeah, nonetheless, it's good to see that KingClueless is still trying to make plays on this bottom side. Kolthro is going to answer. I'm not sure if it's going to be too successful in terms of the lane setup here, but continuing to burn those summoners on the bottom side, very likely Holden's going to make an appearance around level 6, but Geiger's just going to town on Nokduro.
Nokduro, this is the problem that I was talking about. When you're dealing with that AP Udyr, he's just like, okay, I can dive you solo if I really want to. I don't have to, but all I really have to do is remove you from the lane, constantly take you out of the equation, because now Nokduro is going to TP back into the top lane. Delayed TP against Geiger, who's now going to have that advantage later on, and he can even move down and try to help secure control over the Void Grubs. Yeah, oh, Castle?
Mid lane. Oh my.
Wait a minute. One more. Oh! There's the auto attack. I think that Castle actually could have survived had he just walked away from the battle.
Yeah, it was really close, and Holden, I don't know if they had mana for the Emperor's Divide there. I would have thought you would.
It was level 5. Wasn't even. It
was level 5.
Got level 6 from the kill.
Oh my, it's a great engage from Castle, but just a little bit short. Holden able to stick it out, but Void Grubs, oh my goodness, it's like 5 notifications for the Void Grubs.
Well, it's only 3. It's only 3, because you get the 3 if you get all of them, and then it shows that, oh, you got the Void Grubs. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. So you get 3, but they double, I don't know how, whatever it is. They'll figure it out one day, but nonetheless, Kolthro getting the Grubs, and Shibby and I have been saying something recently. If you don't get the grub, you don't get the dub. And Golden Grubians living up to their name in that sense, too.
Especially with this composition, Geiger on that Udyr I was talking about, it is going to be split push duty. You get Udyr, and he's so powerful in that side lane, not just for the level 1, but eventually it's the old Trick 2G gameplay. You just open the gates in the side lane, and if you get all 6 grubs, you will not stop an Udyr. He will win the game 1v9 if he has to.
Yeah, and it's going to be challenging for Nokduro to sort of keep up in that sense. You can see the Vamp Scepter coming through, so very likely
bot lane again.
But engage on the bot lane.
Julien taking a lot of the damage, realizing that he was going to be the forfeited one because they had to keep EvanRL alive.
Just the sums were burned earlier. KingClueless has made 3 appearances on the bot side. First time for Evan's sums, second time for Reppy's sums, third time for the kill. Finally making it stick there, and I think that's important for Shezhomasy. You want to get this Lucian ahead, especially with the first strike. You want to invest in that. I'm curious to see the build that comes through, because right now it's building towards Kraken Slayer. You'd maybe expect with the first strike that you would opt for something like the Voltaic Cyclosword.
I've still seen that as second item, where you go for the Kraken then Voltaic. But the bigger thing is, if I'm Evan and Rappy or Julien, as we keep calling him, I would definitely be like, all right, you know, they're camping bot lane. Just get ahead top lane. Udyr, do your thing. Keep getting grubs. We'll just play the Golden Grubian style.
Exactly. You know, you get the grub, get the dub. Nonetheless, this, at the very least, Evan has summoners back up. Julien should have that heal back up in about 20 seconds as well, so a little bit more safety afforded. But you can see they're still aggressively pushing this bottom side. They're just trying to keep this bot lane pushed under tower as much as possible. Shezhomasy does have a little bit of a CS lead by virtue of all the times forcing EvanRL back, but even still, it's not as bad as it could be, especially
15,
considering how much attention
16,
KingClueless has
17,
put down.
18, 19, 20. Oh, you were almost right to the second. It was like, I think you're off by like 3 seconds on that one.
Yeah,
you were good. Nice, Adam. Who says he's only a Valorant caster? He still knows his League of Legends.
Yeah, nonetheless. Oh, they're on a ward. Uh-oh.
No, it's a dead ward. Dead ward.
Yeah, they were being a little cheeky. I think the ward just died, but nonetheless, I think even despite this early pressure that's come down from the Lucian Milio, EvanRL's in pretty good shape. You know, staying relatively close in the farm department, and a fellow skills like word I can't say on a word I can't say on stream.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I think that's the biggest thing. That's 3 ganks that have been levied into the spot lane for KingClueless, and you've gotten a single kill, and it was onto the support. That means EvanRL has been able to farm up, keep up with Shezhomasy in the spot lane, so you're already doing well as the Aphelios. Then you look elsewhere, and you look towards the top lane. Top lane's winning. You look towards the jungle. Jungle is winning. You look towards the mid lane. Sure, the solo kill came in from Holden, but it's still even, which means that's perfect. If you're Golden Grubians, you're like, yeah, okay, they keep camping bot lane, but they're not getting ahead.
Yeah, and Kolthro is the biggest beneficiary out of everything here. Granted, has that full... Can't call it mythic anymore. First item.
No longer mythics. Rip mythics. Now just Yomus. Mythics.
Yeah, you just get Yomus. It's just an item at this point. No longer mythic.
Ooh, Pop Blossom. Oh, but the Emperor's Divide was a little too late, and Holden realizing he's got no way out except to fight, and so it's death that he chooses.
Yeah, great stuff from Kolthro to be in the right place, right time. Granted, that was fully under knowledge from Holden. More fighting on the bottom side. Oh,
nice heal there. Using the Sephiroth to get the heal from the Moonlight Vigil, but barely do the roots connect onto Julien, who is able to flash away and get the Blast Cone. So again, another gank into the bot lane. KingClueless was not able to get the kill this time, but they are really committing. They want to pick up one of them, as it is Reppy, aka Julien, running out of there saying, Evan, you're on your own. The flash came in. That's the wild growth underneath the turret. Shezhomasy, you've been taking this entire time. They're going to be able to pick up the kill. It was Julien who got the kill, credit for it. But it's a 1-for-1 in the bot lane. And guess what? The grubs, the dubs, top side was still working out for the Golden Grubians.
Yeah, 6 for 6 on the grubs, and all things considered, the dive on bot lane, I think took a little bit too long. I was about to mention that Julien still had that wild growth available, held onto it for so long throughout that, was able to bail out EvanRL for just enough time to ensure that they were able to trade one back. Yes, it is Julien who gets that kill, but at the end of the day, the support picking up, you take that. You weren't expecting to get a kill. You were expecting both of you to die there.
Exactly.
You still end up with one, and Golden Grubians, 6 grubs, and they've got themselves a gold lead still.
Genuinely think that was an amazing play for EvanRL and Julien. I think that is the best result you could have hoped for, that you get a kill back, even if Julien picked up the kill, because you were making the play topside. You weren't even looking for that to work. The fact that it still works out for you guys makes it so that you can get back into the lane, you're not falling too far behind, and you might even be able to contest that dragon, but they do fall back after they notice that Holden had already showed up, and they didn't have Geiger yet ready.
Yeah, now starting to play towards the bottom side of the map is Kolthro a little bit. Yes, you miss out on that dragon, so it's sort of the grubs for the dragon. That's been the trades that we've been seeing recently as well. But with Rift Herald spawning onto the Rift in just under 2 minutes, we'll see if that priority from the side of UCSD on this bottom side continues, or if they potentially rotate Shezhomasy or Protos, or both of them, up towards that Rift Herald to potentially contest further. Shezhomasy has that Kraken Slayer. We'll see what that second item is, because sometimes it'll be Essence Reaver. We'll see if it's Voltaic Cyclosword. I'd like to see the new item.
No, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Voltaic. I think that's been like the second item go-to for Lucians. You could delay it for the third item if you want to, but I'm expecting that is, because it has so much power that it gives to you, right? Just that burst of damage. Essentially, having the slow that's... Well, actually, you don't get the slow if you're ranged. But it still gets a burst of damage with the first auto.
Yeah, you sort of get your... It starts off really well, especially when you've got this first strike online. But EvanRL opted for Youmuu's first item. Interesting adaptation there. You'd expect, with Gale Force now out of the game, you want that extra movement speed. Top side, though, this is trouble for Nokduro.
Nokduro. Slicing Maelstrom to flash away as we go into the bot lane. That was the calling onto Julien, getting a lot of damage, nearly taking him down. With the shield from EvanRL, as they both try to stand strong underneath this turret yet again. But this time, they aren't looking for the battle. They're not looking for the dive out of UCSD. They just wanted to get some plates.
Yeah, I mean, great stuff from Nokduro to get out of that gank as well. Was forced to burn ultimate and flash, which means you have a little bit less fighting power around this Rift Herald if you so opt to move up for it. But bottom side, they're starting to push forward, trying to get this last plate. Don't think the wave's going to get there in time, so EvanRL Repi can reset. They could potentially rotate up to that top side, and I'm expecting a little bit of action around this Herald because both of these teams, at the very least, Shezhomasy should reset after this wave. Might be looking to fight here, but everyone's moving bot side, so
I would be surprised to see even UCSD try to contest that Rift Herald. It seems that they are really content on utilizing the power they've gotten in the bot lane. Even if I've liked the plays from EvanRL and Julien, it's still a Aphelios Lulu lane into a Lucian Melio. You're not really going to battle them until later into the game. You were talking about the scaling that Aphelios has. Well, that's still a scaling that you need. It's only 14.5 minutes into the game, and so the power that we've been seeing from UCSD has been around the bottom quadrant. 2 dragons already to their name. They're already getting those leads necessary, and if they can get that third one, that gives them the power to dictate where Golden Grubians will have to go later in this game, especially because Golden Grubians, even if they have gotten the grubs and the dubs, that gives them power in solo lanes, right? Usually for split pushing, not as a full team.
Yeah, it can help if you find a team fight win without really the use of the grubs and you're able to push a little bit faster. Maybe it means that you get a Nexus Tower when you were only expecting an inhibitor. Maybe it means you get the second Nexus Tower. You know, you could sort of play up to your advantages with the grubs as opposed to getting the advantage straight up through it. But I mean, Nokduro's actually done a very good job on this top side of sort of holding steady here. Doesn't have that flash. Ultimate is back up and available. Hasn't really allowed Geiger to just run away with the game. Fight bot lane, though.
Looking for the pull back onto Castle, who realizes even with the Pop Blossom, there was no way out.
Yeah, Castle's fall. Unfortunately, those were meta in the medieval ages, not quite in 2024. Shezhomasy forced to use the culling on that mid lane, but nice pick onto the bottom side. Make sure you take advantage. Castle not even having a chance to flash out. Means you find a free kill for yourself. Now you continue to keep that bot lane pressure, and with Holden down there now, can just keep pushing with Azir.
I couldn't remember the button, the hotkey to pull up the objective timers. So I was like trying to figure that out that whole time. Just like, what button is it? What button is it? I got it. All right, we got it figured out. Okay, but there is going to be the problem still. I talked about how the side lanes are going to be the powerful thing for the Golden Grubians. The fact they got 6 grubs on their side. Well, that still is going to be true if it's a 2v2 in the mid lane. We saw right there that the reason Shezhomasy had to use the culling was to get rid of those Void Mites. They are so strong and can take down these turrets so quickly. And that's really what will accelerate this game for Golden Grubians and make it so that even if we are seeing the dragon stacking on the other side, try to get towards where they can fight as a team, have all that zone control from a Kennen, a Maokai, and a Seer, well, they got to get there too. They have to make sure that they're ahead or slightly even against Golden Grubians, and they can't fall too far behind, especially against a Graves who already has 2 kills to his name, and they are looking to get more, even if KingClueless will barely escape.
And look at this positioning. They're ready around this dragon to prevent that dragon stacking from coming through. They look at the enemy team. Look, you've got a Kennen, you've got a Maokai, you've got Lucian as well. Azir. All of these are going to make very good use.
Oh, good flashes there. Good reactions. Damn it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What happened there? What'd I do? No. Oh. There it is.
Oh,
got it.
There we go. Yeah.
I got it. Okay, I'm trying to remember the hotkeys here. Yeah, look, I do the casting and the yelling. I don't do the observing, but we're going to have to observe this fight right now because we are about to have it right at the dragon, 50% on it. A lot of movement speed there from Nokduro, but not actually looking for the engage just yet as Geiger was taken down to 50, but so was Protos on the other side. Holden getting a little bit of poke onto Kolthro, but nobody pulling the triggers just yet. Looks like the dragon will fall. UCSD, their 3rd one of the game, 1 away from the soul.
And what we were talking about before Castle's attempted engage there is there's so much poke that the Ocean Soul is so strong on UCSD here.
Yeah.
They're doing a great job of playing towards their strengths. Granted, Rift Herald will be invested on the bottom side. You lose the tower for it, I think. Oh my goodness, wait
Wrong way! Kolthro, wrong way!
Kolthro, where'd you learn to drive, buddy? What's going on?
You accidentally put it in reverse. You didn't realize. He's like, oh, well, that's going the wrong way now. And so the charge will do nothing because they don't even get it. There's too much damage already onto the Rift Herald because Kolthro, unfortunately, went the wrong way.
Yeah, MVA, motor vehicle accident, down in the aisle 3 bot lane. Shezhomasy actually gets mid lane tower at the same time, so UCSD are doing a really good job of keeping pace, and this is, as we get into this mid game here, this is what I wanted to see. This team that is so, the bot lane specifically, that is so focused towards this early game, has done its job. It got the tower. They have about a 2,000 gold lead over the Aphelios right now, which is huge for Shezhomasy. You want to continue to push that forward, especially with second item Navori.
Interesting.
Isn't the Voltaic Cyclosaur.
Interesting. Okay, I kind of like it, actually. Because we were talking about how Lucian really strong in lane, right? And how Aphelios is going to be something that can scale better than Aphelios than Lucian. Well, that's not really the case when you have the Navari and the Kraken for Lucian. He's going to be just as fine in the mid to late game. And then Castle here in the top lane getting a lot of damage on a Nokduro who barely flashed away out of there. And also Nokduro, I'm surprised, is going for the on-hit cannon. I just realized that too with the Blade of the Ruined King. Split push duty cannon who wants to actually contend against Udyr in these side lanes.
And I don't hate it either, because we talked about how it's triple AP on the top side. Instead, Kennen opting for Blade of the Ruined King. I think it's okay here. You've got to cut through this Udyr at some point. You get that utility off of your first auto attack now with a Bork instead of needing it later on, as Julien eats half of a culling there. Might give you a little bit more agency to go toe-to-toe against this Udyr. Granted, that Iceborne Gauntlet now significantly better into that matchup, but building towards the Abyssal Mask is Geiger. It's not going to really do as much into the Kennen in this situation, especially if that's Wit's End as a second item with the Hearthbound Axe already picked up.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up being the call there for Nokduro. But we are getting a bit of an invade. UCSD, the strength for them has been this bot lane. It has been around how they played around Shezhomasy to get this Lucian in a comfortable spot. How many ganks were levied in the bot lane by KingClueless? There's just an insane amount. And at first I was saying that it wasn't really worth it. They weren't getting the kills. They weren't getting much off of it. But slowly but surely, the Dragons were working. Ooh. And now if they can get this pick onto Shezhomasy, that's actually going to completely neutralize the point I was making. The Castle Curse comes through.
And it was Castle disguised as a minion there, actually, that just walked up, dropped the ultimate. All of a sudden, Shezhomasy's like, hey, where'd this Nico come from?
Gotta count the minions. Gotta count the minions.
Yeah, you gotta count. And sometimes it's harder when the waves are bouncing back and forth because it's hard to count how many there are. There might be a wave and a half. That extra minion, you sort of leave that unattended. Castle doing a great job of finding the engage. That's a big pick to find onto Shezhomasy as well, who is a large majority of the gold that UCSD have. You take that off the map, you get a little bit more wiggle room. And now with Baron spawned here, I want to see if Kolthro starts to move that vision or move that vision control alongside Julien to that top side if they potentially pressure this, because they have a pretty quick Baron with the right guns from EvanRL. Right now doesn't have them, but you get green-white or red-white, anything like that, you're going to be in really good shape to potentially rush that down unattended.
But you know who has a better Baron take?
Udyr?
Azir.
Azir as well, too. I was going to say, Udyr does a lot of damage to Baron.
Udyr does, too, but an Azir and Lucian, especially more of the on-hit Lucian, who's going to be the spell-slinging Lucian here, is going to be a lot more powerful on that. And that's why I like what UCSD have done, where they kind of are... Yeah, I mean, they're fighting a little bit for the vision control here on the bottom side of the map, but not too much. They've gotten a good amount of control over the Baron, so if they want to, they can path down here. But they don't have to risk everything for this Dragon. They already have 3 of them. One more, they get the Soul. That's huge, right? You talked about the Ocean Soul and how powerful that will be on the Maokai, on the Azir, even on the spell-slinging Lucian that we have here from Shezhomasy. But the fact that they don't have to rush that, they can use that as bait and then go towards the Baron themselves and burst that down really quickly, could be the play.
And you can see how much positioning, jockeying for position it is here. They've sort of got this in a catch-22. Either you invest heavily into this Dragon, you potentially lose Baron, or you invest into Baron and you lose Soul. So it's sort of not the best situation for Golden Grubians. It's just whether UCSD can take advantage of that. And now Geiger with the Kanik Rookern?
That's the Kanik Rookern. Yep, that's the
Galio
one.
item.
Yep, the Galio item. And now the fight as well. The dragon will fall, but there might be the fight afterwards. Could see them posturing around control, but it does seem that UCSD don't really feel that confident just yet of the full 5v5 fight that they have, especially because it is the on-hit, the AD cannon, so not that powerful cannon where he really needs to be a part of it to get the slicing maelstorms off and neutralize the enemy.
Yeah, you know, your ult is going to be useful if you're getting engaged on if you're this cannon, but that's about it. You're not looking for the damage here. Unfortunately, it's not quite going to be the wombo combo that maybe we were expecting at the beginning, where it's, you know, slicing Maelstrom into an Emperor's Divide, into the roots from Maokai, all that stuff, all at the same time, just dealing massive AoE damage. It's a little bit different here, where they're trying to play for the side lane pressure just a little bit more with this cannon. I want to see if they can continue to put pressure on, because thus far, Geiger's just sort of built up a bounty for themselves, and if we can swap over to the gold, I want to see how much of the lead is there.
Yeah, can observers do this? Thanks, observers.
Yeah, it's like 700 gold, which isn't a whole lot, but at the very least, it's still a component over this cannon, no matter what the game state is. But now Geiger's just so tanky, he can stand in the front line and eat all of this poke that's coming out.
Took nearly nothing from Shezhomasy, and this is a damage Lucian. This is a Kraken Slayer, Navari Quick Blades, and a Last Whisper Lucian, and he did nothing.
Yeah, and that's my worry point at this point. How are they going to get through Geiger? Are they really relying on Kennen just auto-attacking Geiger 47 times in order to cut through? Like, the shield, the turtle shield just doesn't matter for Shezhomasy.
Yeah, he pretty much is a non-factor. It's like, oh, Lucian, you think you can hurt me? I can stand in front of you, eat this damage all day, and it's going to do nothing. That's why Shezhomasy felt that he had to go for that little bit of damage onto EvanRL, but it was a good skirt around the damage from the Aphelios. But KingClueless really does want the battle. They're going to force out the spell shield and get the flash there from Holden onto Julien, but Julien survived for so long. Finally will fall to the burn that came in from Holden, but guess who's on the other side? It's the cavalry. Castle's here and he's toppling them down. Even with the slicing maelstrom, Shezhomasy cannot escape as Geiger will count them out with Nokduro barely alive, but 2 dead on the side of UCSD. Golden Grubians, they got the power around that Baron.
Yeah, and it's good guns for EvanRL as well. You have green-white into potentially red-white if they ordered their guns properly. It means they're going to shred through this so quickly. Oh, it's not red-white.
No, it's not. Oh, well. It'll take a little bit longer, but the thing is, you still have 15 seconds until either the Lucian or Azir will be up. You got plenty of time here to work with.
Yeah, and they just sort of give this one over. Golden Grubians have been controlling every void monster possible. 6 grubs, a Rift Herald, and a Baron and a Pear Tree. That's how it goes. It's not Christmas, but you know how it goes. KingClueless just trying to steal it away here. Get something at the very least. Sort of stealing away the red buff. Does help to deal with the Graves.
How do I get back the things on the side?
Oh no.
I lost the things on the side here. See?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna check my observer hotkeys. 1 sec.
I forget how to do that. Okay, we'll figure it out, everyone. I would say I'll fix it in post, but I'm not going to. So you're gonna have to deal with that being gone for a little bit. Probably have noticed for a bit, and now I just noticed it. H?
Oh, that takes everything away.
Okay. Right now, this is the power of having the 6 grubs on your side, as well as the Baron. Holden will die. The cannon found the target with that collateral damage. As now it's a killing spree for Kolthro, and the problem when you give up 6 grubs, the grubs equal dubs, as you had talked about, because if a Baron ever goes over to the blue side, like we're seeing here now, for Golden Grubians, there's nothing you can do to stop them from completely destroying your base.
Yeah, there's so many grubs there. Look at them. They're just sort of hopping forward.
Yep, exactly.
Taking down the inhibitor. They might just end the game off of this, actually. Look at how much pressure they've got here. And with your Azir down, you don't have that sort of engaged potential that you're really looking for. They will back off. 2 inhibitors is all they ask for, but nonetheless, really good stuff. Look, the Grubs are still popping out.
Yeah,
Golden Grubians got the mascots.
Exactly. Oh, God, why do I do this? How do I get this back?
I'm going through all of these.
I have no idea. I don't know what I did. I did something. They're gone.
We'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, we've got...
be taken.
It's okay. Yeah.
Just sort of hit everything on your...
That's what I've been doing. I've been pushing every button to try to figure it out. Oh, that's not it.
D?
Nope, D's not it.
No. P.
P is pause.
Oh, P is pause. Uh-oh. I?
I is not. Wait.
I is that.
Oh, wait.
Blue team frames, red team frames. I think that's what we need. There we go.
There we go. I don't know how I got rid of it in the first place. That's the problem. I don't know what I did to get rid of him. But we got him back. There we go.
Yeah.
People were probably yelling at their screens like, oh my god, how can they not figure this out? I yell at the game.
The champion names are back. They're back to just being the champion names.
Oh, what? I didn't even push anything for that. Oh my goodness. If one thing's not broken, it's another, right?
Yeah. Oh, well.
You're going to have to deal with it now. We'll figure it out later. Because at least I know who's who, I think. Let's see. All right. I don't know how that got broken. But it did. And now we have the siege coming in from Golden Grubians. The final lane that they haven't toppled yet, but it will shortly follow. As you can see how much happens when you have 2 of the Void Mites that spawn per person attacking one of these towers. There's so many that pop out. Like right there. To see this. Holden's like, I'm safe here. No, you're not. No, you're not safe. You'll never be safe there with that much power from Golden Grubians. As UCSD now. The siege in the last lane. Mid lane, Geiger holding it strong and making sure that Nokduro cannot leave that lane.
And even without the Baron, it's just so oppressive at this point. The gold lead isn't even that extreme. It's 5,000 at this point, but Golden Grubians have this pushing power where they can just press in, continually picking up more, and Geiger's taking 0 damage. Like,
literally nothing.
Eating skill shots for 30 seconds, it feels like, still basically full health.
And look at that. They already had the push from the bot lane, the super minions showing up. They've nearly taken down the next inserts, and they didn't do anything. It was all the minions. This game, Golden Grubians, they got the power early. They've got the grubs, and they're looking for the dub right now. As the minions, again, barreling down through the bot lane to allow one more push. Finally, the next insert will fall as the ult had been used there by KingClueless, but it was on to Geiger, and Geiger takes no damage. Graves collateral damage away from the battle as the Pop Blossom knocks up 2. The carries, those are the ones you want. There goes Holden looking for the backline on Shezhomasy as he was able to dash away, but he's not what they need. It's only the structures that truly matter as Maokai will be burned down once more, even looking for the kill on the Nokduro, but it's a double kill for Kolthro. Back to the fountain you go. Game is won by the Golden Grubians.
Yeah, and look at that, 16 kills across the 31 minutes. It was all the grubs at the end of the day. Kolthro did their homework. They know you get the grub, you get the dub. 6 out of 6. That's how you wrap things up there. Fantastic stuff coming through from Golden Grubians.
Yeah, and now we get to take a look really quick at some of the stats. Let's see. Kind of keep that up on screen for a bit for people to see.
Yep.
As I take a sip of my soda. There we go. Alrighty. That's where we'll end